Far Cry 6 is a game about revolution, homebrew weapons, pet alligators, hobbled together tentacles, and super moves? Yeah, Far Cry 6 is very much a Far Cry game, and it seems to be leaning even more heavily into the series' dangerous but tongue-in-cheek mechanics. In this video, we're going to go over everything we've learned so far from Ubisoft about this game. E3 2021 is right around the corner, and GameSpot will have a ton to show during our Play for All event, so make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out. Let's get to it. One thing hammered home in our preview of Far Cry 6 was that the loadout of your character will matter, and picking the right tools is important. Weapons are highly customizable, and gear comes with specialized perks. Loadouts can accommodate a number of playstyles, meaning that you can now holster your weapon and try not to draw attention. You can sneak around, you can pay bribes to different enemies, hijack trucks, and commit sabotage. You can also just play it like a standard shooter. There are 49 weapons with plenty of attachments, and while we didn't see any kind of stats-based weapon rarity like in Far Cry New Dawn, we did see a range of categories. When it comes to arms, Juan Cortez is your weapon supplier. On the island of Yara, he's basically Q from James Bond.
Tostador. The two go together like fire and fury.
Through him or in the world, you can get different weapons across the regular, resolver, and Supremos category. Regular weapons seem to be leftover guns from last century's Cold War, like the SKS, FAL, and M16. But also there's everyday items like baseball bats. Throwing knives make their return as a stealth go-to weapon. Next are resolver weapons, which are hand-built improvised items. These range from mildly plausible, like the flamethrower, silent nail gun, and EMP grenades, to the ludicrous, like a minigun built from motorcycle parts and a vinyl record launcher that plays Macarena. You've seen this stuff in Far Cry before, but this game is taking that over-the-top and improvised aspect a bit further. There are also some very silly improvised mechanics, like healing through pressing a lit cigar to your wound. Above resolver weapons, we have the Supremos. That means Far Cry now has super moves in the form of an upgradable backpack. We are now headed into Just Cause territory. Some of the Supremos demonstrated in our preview was a backpack mortar launcher that could clear an area, and also a rocket jump. This all ties into Far Cry 6's RPG light gear system, which includes perks. Clothing can do things like improve your headshot damage, increase stealth and mobility, or guarantee throwing knives to hit their target. We're not sure yet if that means enemies will have a corresponding gear or difficulty level like they did in Far Cry New Dawn, where players needed to keep up with their weapon levels to do proper damage. In that game, players didn't have to worry about their clothing and armor though. We did ask about how much of New Dawn systems would come over to Far Cry 6 in an interview, but we didn't get a specific answer. Although not referred to in this presentation as fangs for hire, there are pets in this game, including Guapo the alligator that can chomp your enemies, and Chorizo, who is very cute and distracting to let you commit silent murders. So that's guns and gear. Let's talk about transportation. Inspired by the isolation of Cuba, the island of Yara is stuck in time, which means modern technology is kind of rare. Many of the guns and vehicles you'll find are repurposed from old stuff. There's a wide range of transportation like horses and aging cars, but from there players can build up Mad Max style technicals with all kinds of weapons and attachments bolted on. You can also hijack a tank. Regarding flying things, the game seems like it's going to attempt to keep you grounded for a while with flak cannons scattered around the island. This is kind of nice. As much as we like flying helicopters, it's always kind of broken Far Cry games by letting you go from objective to objective without really engaging in the world. It's possible you'll be able to blow these up quickly and do it anyway, but we're hoping flying's more of a late game thing. Alright, so who are you? You play as Danny Rojas, who can be either male or female. Unlike most other Far Cry games, Danny is fully voiced and will appear in cutscenes. They live on the island of Yara, which is being ravaged by a brutal dictator named Anton Castillo, played by actor Giancarlo Esposito. The island's been isolated for about 50 years, leading to some urban decay. His goal is to return Yara to its former glory with the help of about 300,000 soldiers and a bit of martial law. His son Diego seems like an unwilling participant, but we'll have to see how that pans out. If you remember, you played the role of a son in a similar situation in Far Cry 4 and wound up potentially being just as bad as your old pops. Danny is a military dropout and their family was part of the regime previously, so their story might be echoed in Diego. To fight the good fight, you're working with a local revolutionary leader, Clara Garcia, and her army of guerrilla rebels. So what does that mean from a gameplay perspective? You'll find a lot of the usual activities like taking checkpoints and outposts, plus stomping around the jungle and trails in search of hidden loot. But you'll also be in the huge capital city with its skyscrapers and underground areas, and that kind of urban scale is new to the series. On a side note, we also saw some minigames like playing dominoes. Seems like a nice way to unwind. Overall, the presentation didn't answer all of our questions, like if Far Cry 6 will continue the more heavy-handed RPG systems of New Dawn, which were a bit divisive with fans. We can't wait to get our hands on the game and really put that weapon customization to the test. Despite the heavy political setting that centers around a malevolent dictator, Far Cry 6 does not seem to be taking its moment-to-moment gameplay too seriously. There will be more to say about this game soon as E3 kicks off this June, so be sure to subscribe to GameSpot's YouTube page and we'll keep you up to date. Thanks for watching.